Thank you, Doc. Professor Narayan Singh, Ken Butcher, who's one of my mentors growing up, other professors, teachers, coaches, students, media, parents. Thank you for inviting me here this morning to be with you all. I have Parliament at 1:30 this evening, so I may not be able to share the entire experience with you all, but I'll stay as long as I can to interact and to hear your interaction with regards to the feedback. But what Doctor just said there with regards to me being the first Minister of Sport to be here, it may sound grand and stuff, but you could ask the staff at the ministry and my advisor, Mr. Warwick, that for some reason, Ken and Professor and Doc, that seems to be, we get that at least 5 or 6 times a week. It's no secret the Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs and the Minister of Culture is the most invited ministers for obvious reasons. There are so many sports, 50 plus sports, governing bodies of which in they have different clubs and so on, same with culture. So on any given week, we could go as much as 70 events. On last Sunday, we went as much as 10. Just try to support, and it's not because of any other reason that I love this. I love being on the ground. I love coming and hearing, because when you're talking too much, you can't hear. And we've had ministers of sports before talked a little too much and didn't listen, and they saw what happened. But most importantly, I like to be around young people, because I honestly to God think, especially in these tough times with oil and gas, that Trinidad and Tobago's greatest resource are the young people, the people in this room. So I want to give all you all a round of applause. You all are the people that are going to take us out of the need that we have, that we still are the tentacles sucking at the teeth of the oil and gas for so many years. You all have to come with innovation and new ideas to bring Trinidad and Tobago away from that, so we could remove from that dependency, that we could have new revenue streams. Just to give you all an idea, and I always like to say this, not because I'm about doom and gloom, but it's a statistic and fact that I don't think much people in Trinidad and Tobago are aware of. The last year of the UNC government in 2014-2015, the country got $18 billion in oil and gas revenue. In the People's National Movement's first year, you got $1.7 billion. So that's like you making $18,000 a month, and professors saying that you could only live off $1,000. Your mortgage, your car, your gas, your food, and so on. And that's what we are struggling with right now. And you know, you tend to want to diversify when you have resources, when you have money. You buy a piece of land, you put some money in unit trust, you renovate your home and stuff. But when you do have, it's kind of difficult to diversify. That's why we are thankful to have places like UTT where they have things going, where we don't have to start from scratch. We could piggyback and push. And I think coming out of today's discussion, we're going to really make some key changes to the sports policy document that we're working on. And that has been my style since I was the chairman of the Diego Martin Regional Corporation, the youngest chairman. Always consult and hear. Anything that you do, it must be we. It's not about I, it's not about the government, it's we. So when we're finished with this document, all of you all in here could boast and say you all had a say, you all had a part of the document. And when we are living it for the next few years, you all could understand and relate it better. I heard professors speak about doctors and lawyers and so on. And that is indicative and true for my growing up. Ken will tell you, 100 pounds ago, I represented Trinidad and Tobago in football. I played for St. Mary's and Fatima. And I got a full football scholarship. 1991, the last time St. Mary's College won a national title under Ken. And I wanted to do sports management. My parents didn't have to pay a cent. But you know, you had to respect mommy and daddy. They say, over the dead body, what you going to do with sports? Same thing Professor was just saying. And all my teammates who were on the team were doing different facets of sports, sports psychology, training, coaching, kinetics. They had so many programs that they had up there. And I went and do business, marketing. I mean, I do go back in the past and cry too much because I end up the Minister of Sports still. But I would have been so far better off if I had done the degree then. But that's why I need you all to assist me. And you have a minister that has an open door policy, that listens, but more importantly, give you all a little inside of where we are heading. Because I know how difficult and hard it is in Trinidad and in the Caribbean to extent with regards to job opportunities for people coming out with degrees in sport. For some reason, sport hasn't been given the light, the funding, the interest that it should have. If you was to ask me, I think Ministry of Sport should get the biggest budget in the budget. You all think so? Just how important it is. I think we should. But thank God, we have a Prime Minister that loves sports and also understands how important sport is. He still plays golf almost every day. Very good golfer as well. He played football for Roxborough in Intercol. He did track and field as well in UE in Jamaica and so on. So he's a sportsman and he understands how sports benefit the country, not just with podium, but health, crime, and so on. So we're very lucky to have a leader that understands and respects that, and he's been working very closely with me, and he understands the dreams and the aspirations that we all have. But more importantly, you would have seen in the manifesto of the People's National Movement, which is now the policy of the country, and if you haven't, you should take a look at it, for youth and sport. And I keep saying youth because now with the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, the previous regime, it was just sport. People always tend to put the youth side of it on the back burner, but that is something that is critical for us and for me as well, to ensure that we push the youth aspect of it, which benefits you all as well. But we have a couple goodies coming up. The Brian Lara Stadium is soon to be completed finally. We met with Brian yesterday. We'll be meeting with UTT as well. They have a capacity in there with UTT and so on. And finally, it's going to be completed by February, March, and we're going to have a grand opening and so on. And that's the usual thing in Trinidad and Tobago. We have all these nice structures you would have seen. We just recently, a few months ago, opened the aquatic, the racket center, the cycling center, Sandy Grande indoor facility, and a number of other facilities. Politicians in the past tend to grade themselves with mortar, steel, structures, infrastructure. I have an infrastructure budget and a recurrent budget and a development budget. But they must have a time where we have too much. There's only so many schools we need, so many football fields. And if you're traveling and fly over Trinidad and Tobago at night or drive around, you see how many fields that we have lit. And we're lighting it for goats and cows to graze because nothing going on the fields. We have to have programs. We have to have bodies. I'm a member of the Queen's Park Oval, and I've played football for them, and that's the success of the Oval. Oval is a whole structure. It's a nice facility, has a lot of history. But the reason why they've been so successful, is celebrating 125 years this year, is because it has people. It's run by people. They have members. People are busy there every day using the gyms, in the nets, in the squash center, playing pool, playing cards, playing football, tennis, hockey. Always have people going on because it's a club structure. They pay your dues, you go there, you could recreate, you could have a drink, you could have lunch. There are several restaurants there, they have events. That's what we need to do. I just came from the swimming pool down the road in Vancouver. Your boy just do 10 laps. So right now I'm feeling to drop down. But it was me alone there. Right, I was just talking to Professor there, and I'm going to ensure that UTT is allowed to utilize the swimming pool, the students there as well, for fitness. What is the sense spending all these billions of dollars and it not being used every day? We have to put chlorine. We spend $90,000 on chlorine every month, whether all in it or not, whether all we in the pool or not. It has to spend. So best all we in the pool, right? Nah, don't go on with the pool. Just joking. But my point is, that is one of our main goals. We have enough facilities. We are doing a database, a fantastic database that we are launching this year. And I used to work for a company called GTech. I'm the guy who designed Lotto Plus and Playway. Don't ask me for the numbers. I don't have the numbers. And yes, people do win, right? So I'm very good in math. I love figures and I love numbers. But my point is, for some reason, and I would really like UTT to assist us with this, and the governing bodies, I see ASAT, some members from ASAT are here. We really need to help sport and the governing bodies with regards to data and information. We just do things with how the breeze blow. We make decisions just like that. If for political reasons we see a piece of empty land and we say let's build a stadium there, we don't check the demographics, we don't see how many people play the sports and so on. So those days are done. We completed the projects that were there, the Brian Lara, the aquatic, wherever. We finished it because we had to finish it. There's the Mahaica Oval that started. We have to finish that. The Diego Martin Recreation, they started that. So my job as Minister of Sport, because you all know what went on with sport the last 5 years. It was embarrassing, and I'm happy to see that you all stood fast, because by our ministry, people are actually ashamed to wear the ministry shirt. People used to put it inside out and sport company. So only now they're able to walk with a little pride and raise their head. But it was really embarrassing. But I'm not here to talk about it as it passed. We go optimistic and we move forward. But my point is, we have to assist, and I would like UTT to assist some of the governing bodies, and we'll work out a plan for them to purple. Case in point, even swimming, and swimming is here. We're asking swimming how many people drown a year, how many people could swim, how many swimming pools are there, how many males could swim, how many females could swim, which areas, and so on. And just basic statistics like that we just don't have, and that goes with all these sports. For us to make calculated decisions, we need to have that. You all agree? All right, so that's one of the things we plan to do, where we'll be working with you all. Another plan that myself and Mr. Garcia are speaking about, and the Prime Minister is on board with it, is the original plan for the Brian Lara Stadium was to do a Brian Lara Academy. And that academy was supposed to be involved with UTT, which it still will be. However, a decision has been made, and we're moving forward for the first time, because in speaking to a number of athletes from UTT and other places as well, when you reach this age, 18, 19, and you go to UTT, basically you come UTT to refine you and to finish you. I've spoken to athletes who have been here successfuli, and they said if they had programs such as what UTT have at that age, when they were 9, 10, 11, they would have been much better off. In fact, I met with Atto Bola and Brian Lara, and they quite often, and they're saying in Santa Cruz that our little pocket there where Brian Lara and Bravo and Atto are from, something in that water can, because in that little corner there in Santa Cruz produce, to me, the best cricketer in the world, one of the best athletes. And they're saying they probably have 50 other Brian Laras in that corner that we've lost. Atto Bola say you see young fellas running faster than them there, age for age. In Diego Martin, where I'm from, how many people are from Diego Martin? Anybody from Diego Martin? And it's not just Diego Martin. Big up Diego Martin. It's not just Diego Martin. We always see, you all would have recalled a few months ago, sad to say, there were 2 young men who got shot in Laventille in their school uniforms. You remember that? I mean, that really blew me away. I've never heard of anybody getting murdered in their school uniform going to school. That was our all-time low for me and the country, and I'm sure you all felt it. But those 2 young men, one was a cricket captain and one was a football captain. You all knew that? And it happens in Diego Martin too. These guys live in areas where it's very depressed, hotspots. And on their way out, they meet fellas their age, 15, 16, who not in school, with the teardrops, with their pants down by their ankle, water cash, with their wet man. And they get teased. We have lost so many footballers in Diego Martin because of that. Why you going training? Look at water cash, throw it in their face. Look the gun, look woman, look the gold teeth. You ain't getting that in football, you're gonna run hard in this hot sun and you could be getting this. And you'll be surprised how much you young people is take that chain up. National security is working on that end, but we have our job to do as well. And we keep losing major athletes daily like that. So one of the plans that we have at the Academy, which we hope to launch in 2018, 2019, is to actually have a secondary school where we do talent identification across the country for cricket, football, track and field. Now we have all these facilities in this corner here, swimming, aquatic. We're signing an MOU with China pretty soon for the first time to do diving and synchronized swimming. I can't wait to see the first Trinidad and Tobago synchronized team. I think we're going to get gold medals every year. We'll be whining in the water. And yeah, see how some of the women be dancing on their head and thing and then passa. I think we're going to mash up in that. But my point is, for the first time, we're going to have an academy where we're going to have 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds from Form 1 up to Form 5, ensuring that they get the best teachers as well to go parallel with that. They're living there, they're getting the best diet, the best psychological help, training, injuries, and so on, taking them out in the environment. I have parents I've spoken to, pack the children already for 2018 to get them out in the environment to go there. You think that's a good idea? So that's where there's opportunity for you all there. Another plan that we're looking at, and I'm speaking to Mr. Garcia about, in the US, they have a fantastic way how they do things, the system from middle school straight up to college. There's an athletic director at all the universities, at all the high schools, highly paid, qualified, similar to what you're doing here. And that person is in charge of the athletics for the school. And that person hires a football coach, cricket coach, basketball coach, American football, at least 20 sports on them. Is in charge of the gym, all the fields, equipment, insurance, the scholarships, and so on. And it works. Clearly it works. So we are looking at a system like that, and we're going to be doing a pilot by next year. So again, that's opportunity for you all. Right now is a PE teacher who's a maths teacher who's just throw out a ball during PE. I remember in PE in school, the teacher throw the ball and you just sweat. The other day I was driving by school and I see the PE teacher on his cell phone. Up to now, he didn't raise yet to see what's going on. Kids just playing. So we have to have a little more structure in the school system, and again, that is opportunity for you all there. And this summer, we are hosting the biggest aquatic meet in the Western Hemisphere called CC-CAN. It's never been hosted in the Caribbean before. Now we are able to host it here because we have all the facilities here, and it's going to have synchronized swimming, diving, water polo, and actual swimming. We anticipate to have 28 countries here, over 1,000 athletes, and of course with 1,000 athletes you get coaches, parents, and so on. So it's going to be big. It's going to be massive in this corner here during the summer. That's the last week of June, the first week of July. And it's also Trinidad and Tobago's 55th anniversary. You all knew that? Okay, good. Jamaica as well is celebrating its 55th anniversary. So right now we're finalizing a plan with the sport company, the Ministry of Sport, the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Tourism, Education, National Security, Social Development to jump on board to celebrate our 55th anniversary with sport. And for the first time, we're going to be hosting a summer sports festival in the Couva area surrounding the CC-CAN tournament, where we are looking at bringing back the rivalry. You know, the Real Madrid-Barcelona derby, the Manchester derby. Ken will tell you when he played for Trinidad, the Jamaica-Trinidad derby was a big thing in cricket. Anytime Trinidad played in Jamaica, in football, cricket, anything, it's always a big crowd and a rivalry. That has since died. And we are trying to build back relationships with Jamaica, which is going good so far. So we plan to work. We already spoke to the Minister of Sport in Jamaica, and she is finalizing with her cabinet as well, just as I am, to have an entire sports festival here, and then we'll be going over to Jamaica as well. Their Independence is the 6th, of course, ours is on the 31st. So those 2 weeks, we're going to have, it's summertime, it's a little tough times. People usually go to Miami or travel or go down the islands of Tobago. Now you could have your kids come down a day, you could watch football. Reggae Boys is going to play Trinidad and Tobago. The cricket team is going to be playing at the Taruba Stadium. They're going to have some other football. They're going to have cycling going on, basketball, karate, remote control, cars, because they actually have a remote control center there at the back by Atto Bolan, and a number of sports going on all at the same time for 2 weeks, with Ministry of Tourism and Culture doing a number of events as well. So it's a place you can come and lime, taste some food, meet new people, see different sports and stuff. You all like how that song in? Right, so again, it's opportunity for you all as well. But most importantly, it's opportunity for the governing bodies, the sporting governing bodies, to showcase the sports. Because what we find is we're not encouraging young people to participate by seeing it. The Brechin Castle in Caroni with the golf course is going to be part of the whole cycle as well. We're going to have golf going on as well, and we're going to teach kids how to play these sports. So it's a good time for you all to volunteer. We're going to be asking for volunteers for that event. Get involved with the governing bodies. And again, it's probably even good for you all to write a little thesis or do some of your work course load in terms of seeing how that goes. So we have a number of cool things planned as well. One of the things that we're looking at is the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago to be morphed. I'm going to ask you all a question. The Ministry of Sport has 400 staff members total. How many people you all think the Ministry of Sport in Jamaica hires? I'll give a person $100 if they can answer it right now. You're from Jamaica? If you're from Jamaica, don't answer now. 50? Wrong. If you answer wrong, you have to give me $100. Nobody go answer. Jamaica hires 7 people in the Ministry of Sport. 7. There you go. I can open bigger than look here. 7 people. And look how good Jamaica doing in sport. You see, when you do have, you always say this success. Anytime we meet with the governing bodies, we hear 4 or 5 countries are the best. Cuba sucking salt. No coming out. But they make blood out of stone. Jamaica have the little tourism and so on. They don't have the resources, but they're doing well. Australia, China, the US, those are the countries that we keep hearing. They have the benchmark. And we have to try and see. Nothing is new under the sun. Everybody tried to reinvent the wheel. Live sport was reinventing the wheel, you know. Another day I'll talk to you all about that. But my point is, there are people who are doing it right and successfully. Not that we're going to copy them or say that we don't have creative people, but it's working. What they have done, they have set up different organizations and companies to do different things. And what I find as Minister of Sport that we are doing, the Ministry of Sport and the sport company is duplicating what it's doing. Right? Ken was part of the sport company at one time. He'll understand what I was saying. They have governing bodies, we have governing bodies. They're doing maintenance and building, we doing. So it doesn't make any sense. So one of the things we plan to do is to change the concept of the sport company. And we have some consultants, which is part of what you're going to be discussing today as well. Also the boxing board. 1938, a man died in the ring in boxing. And they passed legislation to form a boxing board. And since then, we have a boxing board. Which makes no sense to me. Right? But I'm a thinker. I'm one who thinks outside the box and try to do things a little different. So for the first time this year, we're going to move away from the boxing board because there are other sports that are more dangerous than boxing, not so? Sambo, you could dead in karate, you could get a bad touch in judo. So we're going to come up for the first time with a combat sports commission, which is going to include all the hand fighting, martial arts, and we're going to put them together to have a commission for that as well. So, good? Right? So, any ideas like that you all have, this is the opportunity. These next 4 or 5 years that we have here, you really want to flip the script. One of the main things that we want to do in the manifesto is, as I said before, we have a pyramid where most of our money goes towards the elite athletes. In other countries, they do the opposite. They spend in the primary schools and at the grassroots, at the development stage. Whereas we pay you when you reach. And that's why we have a few people that reach. Don't you think we should try and help more people reach? And then you could have endorsements on Nike and Adidas, so you don't need to come to the ministry, you're covered. So that's one of the things that we plan to do as well. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you all have a lot to say. I know the team have a lot to say. As I said, call me at any time. Facebook me, WhatsApp me, Twitter me. Any ideas that you all have, I'm willing to work with you. All right? God bless and enjoy the day. Take care.